Hey everyone, and welcome back to more political chatter. This election prediction is the 2022 Senate forecast. So I might sound a little bit different, as you might have already recognized. That's because of the fact that I'm not using my microphone, because I actually have a special guest today, and I'm using my internal microphone. So because the microphone is like one person microphone. So who is our special guest? Well, it's my sister Avery.
Hi.
Say hi. And we will, you guys have seen it before. We are just going to be looking at all the U.S. Senate races for 2022, and looking at who will win in each one and who will take control of the U.S. Senate by November of 2022. So let's get right into this video. So obviously these Senate races, well, first of all, just want to say that all the states in light gray have Senate races. The ones in dark gray do not, obviously. Of course, you guys know that already. But this will be a true test of how of the handling of Joe Biden's presidency, of how or test of the control he has over the nation and the Democratic Party. So let's get into these matchups. So going to California, states like California, they're going to be safe Democratic.
They're always blue, right?
Right. I mean, in California we have Alex Padilla, the incumbent. In Hawaii, I don't even know who, or we have Brian Schatz. Anyway, so these races will be safe. In Oregon, we have Ron Wyden, who is, pretty,
He's secure.
Yeah, he's secure. He's not an insanely popular senator, but it's Oregon. Washington, Patty Murray. We have the incumbent Patty Murray. This will be a likely race. So, in case you don't know, a safe margin is a 15 point margin or more. A likely margin is a 5 to 15 point win. A lean margin win, which is this, is a 1 to 5 point win.
It's that close in Washington?
No, it won't. It's likely. I just said. I'm just doing.
Oh, you just changed the color.
And then a tilt win is like a 0 to 1% win.
So it's super close.
Yeah, less than a percentage point. So Washington, Patty Murray is not very popular, but it's Washington, so we'll stay likely blue.
Okay.
So anyway, let's go to Illinois. Here we have Tammy Duckworth, incumbent, easily wins re-election. New York, we have Chuck Schumer, wins re-election. Connecticut, we have Richard Blumenthal, of course.
I love him.
Yeah.
We've been seeing a lot of his ads lately.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually seen a lot of polls and on other social media that says that, people are posting polling between Blumenthal and, I don't even know who the opponent is.
I never even hear about the opponents.
Right, that's exactly it.
I only know about Chris Murphy and Blumenthal.
Because these polls are saying that's going to be like a 10-point race with Blumenthal winning, but no.
Way.
And people are believing it online, but no, if you live in Connecticut,
fake news.
If you live in Connecticut, you know that you only see Blumenthal ads. No one knows who the other
We're
woman
a blue
even
state,
is.
and people are very happy with Murphy and Blumenthal right now because of their gun control initiatives. So I don't think they're going anywhere.
Okay. The next day is Maryland. This one is pretty interesting because they've got Larry Hogan. These states are safe blue, but we have a extremely popular Republican governor here, Larry Hogan. Ugh. But many thought that he would run for Senate, because that'd be a safe win, no matter what. That's how popular he is. However, he did not end up running for Senate.
Is he staying as governor?
No, he's term limited, so that's why people thought that he would run. But no.
So he's just done?
Yeah, he's done. He's not running for Senate. That means it's safe blue. Going to Vermont, this is our last safe blue state. Always blue. We have what's his name? Pat Leahy, who is the Senate Majority Whip.
He's the whip?
Yeah, he is. But he's been in office for so long, decades. But this year he said, "No, I'm done."
How do you feel about term limits for senators? I know, but it's okay. Fine, keep going. I think that there should be term limits.
Yes.
I'm the guest, so I don't have to be biased.
Okay. So now let's go into some favorite Republican races. Idaho, of course, will be safe. North Dakota, South Dakota, we have John Thune, who's the Senate Minority Whip. very popular. Iowa, we have Chuck Grassley. That's not going anywhere. Missouri will get to. Whoops.
That's a toss-up?
I wouldn't say toss-up, but it won't be safe.
Okay.
Oklahoma, safe Republican. Oklahoma special, safe Republican.
What? What's that Oklahoma special?
Someone died. A senator died, so they have a senate. So they have a special, like in Arizona, like in Georgia, which I was explaining before. Louisiana, safe. Arkansas, safe. Alabama, safe.
Look at all this red.
Yeah. Kentucky, we have Mitch McConnell. Rand Paul. Mitch McConnell's not up for election.
He's not?
Rand Paul is up. Indiana, safe. South Carolina, it's usually likely on the presidential level, but we have Tim Scott, who's extremely popular there.
I've been seeing a lot of ads for a North Carolina senator, I think.
Or do you mean...
Or the governor. It's the governor. Yeah, never mind. That one guy?
John Cunningham? He's South Carolina.
He, looks young.
Yeah, that's South Carolina. Yeah, he's pretty cool.
He's been making TikToks and stuff like that.
Really? Going to Alaska, that'll probably be safe, but they have ranked choice voting, which is awesome. But
what does that mean?
It means, so basically on the ballot, you mark your
top 3 or whatever.
You rank them 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then the average highest wins.
That's a very interesting system.
It's a great system. Forward Party. That's their whole thing.
Oh, I see. Voting. So why don't any other states do that?
Because we're all dumb. And because it gives independents a chance, and the whole two-party system
would never work in that.
Yeah, and the whole idea of the two-party system is to not let independents win. Anyway, so these are the safe Republican races, so 15-point wins or more. So now let's get into some likely races. So we already did Washington, which I actually shouldn't have done. But going to Colorado, this will be a likely win. Michael Bennet is awesome. Everyone loves him. Republicans, Democrats, Independents.
So why is it only likely?
It's Colorado. It's not a safe blue state.
Okay.
So Colorado will be likely for Michael Bennet. No doubt in my mind that it's going to be lean, that's going to be tilt, that's going to be safe. It will be likely for Michael Bennet. His opponent is not strong at all. Let's see, going to, I think that's our only likely Democratic race. Yes, really? It is. Yep. Going to likely Republican states. Florida, we have your home state. Florida, we have Marco Rubio, who
he's not that bad.
He's not that bad. He really is not. He's young, which is a good thing.
I like that. He can give some fresh ideas.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know this, he supports raising the limit to buy an assault rifle to 20.
Does?
Yep, he does.
That's shocking coming from Florida.
Yeah.
Wow.
At least he did in 2018, maybe not now.
I wish the governor was up for re-election.
He is.
He is?
Yes.
Who's running against him?
Nikki Fried or Charlie Crist.
Do you think they even have a chance?
No way. He's so popular.
People love him.
Yeah. All right. Let's go. Yeah. In North Carolina, I do feel comfortable giving Ted Budd a more than 5-point win. Sherry Beasley, Democrats from, Northeast might like her a little bit, but she has no shot in a state like North Carolina in this political environment right now. Going to Ohio, I really do root for Tim Ryan because he is a really cool guy and he's a good look for the Democratic Party in the state of Ohio. He voted for Trump some of the time, and Ohio is a state where, especially on trade, and Ohio is a state that loves Trump, but at the end of the day, are they going to choose someone who was endorsed by Trump or someone who might vote for vote with Trump some of the time? They're going to vote for J.D. Vance, who is endorsed by Trump. So I do think that J.D. Vance will come out on top in the state of Ohio.
Wow. Trump's endorsement still matters?
It does so much.
So crazy.
It mattered in Pennsylvania, it mattered in Georgia, it matters in Ohio.
Just stuck in the past. I'm going to be biased. I'm a guest. This isn't you.
Whatever. Okay. Now let's go to Wisconsin. I do think that I had a lean Republican for so long, but at this time I do feel comfortable putting it into the likely column because the Democrat Mandela Barnes, there's a video that was leaked recently at a campaign rally of him.
Another leak.
Yeah, of him saying the founding of the country, it was, quote, terrible and things were, quote, awful.
And I mean, he's like not that
yeah,
wrong,
I know, but
people won't like that.
People do not like that. And Ron Johnson, who is the incumbent, pretty popular.
Oh, he's incumbent?
Yeah, he's winning.
That's it.
Yeah. Let's see. Going to Missouri. So, what's so sad is that Eric Greitens is most likely going to win this race. And Eric Greitens is the former senator here. It literally is proven that he abused his wife.
What?
And he's going to become the next senator from Missouri.
They're voting an abuser into office?
The Republicans... That would be the dumbest thing to nominate them. If they nominate anyone else, it's going to be Safe R. But if they nominate him, it's going to be somewhat competitive, but he's still going to win.
Who would vote for that? Who would support something? And it's been proven that he did this?
It's not just like a theory or anything.
How didn't that end his political career
I don't know.
Altogether?
Seriously, right? But he will win the nomination, and if that happens, his biggest challenge is the nomination. But after he gets that, it's no chance. Lucas Kunz, the Democrat's not beating him. Alright, so that's the, one more likely state. And, you might be interested. Utah, you might think would have been called Safe R by now. But no, I do think that this would be likely. So here we have a really cool candidate who I really love, Evan McMullin. So if you probably remember McMullin from the 2016 presidential election.
I feel like I've heard that name.
Right? Where he ran in Utah as a conservative independent. Because he was anti-Trump, and he was a former Republican, anti-Trump, and he wanted to win the state of Utah, just their 6 electoral votes, or at least swing it to Hillary Clinton. He just wanted to make sure Trump did not win, even though it just made a little difference, Utah, with their 6 electoral votes. He wanted to make some difference.
Yeah.
And he ended up coming in third behind Trump, behind Clinton. But so not strong, but in 2022, we have a very much more interesting race, because the Utah Democratic Party has actually endorsed McMullin.
What?
They have endorsed the conservative
Even though he
McMullin.
ran as a conservative independent?
He's a former Republican, and they endorsed him. It was a very narrow vote.
That was in 2022?
Yeah, this year. And he's running against Mike Lee, who voted, get this, his opponent Mike Lee voted for McMullin in 2016. But after that, during Trump's presidency, he became extremely pro-Trump.
And now is running against him?
Now he took Trump's side, and now McMullin is running against him. So, but at the end of the day, McMullin doesn't have much of a path to a victory in the state of Utah, as Mike Lee is the incumbent.
Mm-hmm.
And I see Mike Lee winning this race by a likely margin, if not safe. Sadly.
It's so crazy that, previous presidents still have an effect on, how people vote today.
I know. Anyway, endorsements matter a lot.
They do.
Endorsements do not matter that much.
They shouldn't matter. It should be based on the person's policies and who they are.
I've never supported someone just because someone endorsed them. Anyway, so we have 5 remaining races. Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and New Hampshire. So how about we start with New Hampshire?
Mm-hmm.
So New Hampshire, I do think that Maggie Hassan will hold on by a lean margin. So this is a 1 to 5 point win. I think it's going to be around 3 points.
Wow, I thought New Hampshire was super Democratic. I guess I was wrong.
No, it went to Biden by 7 points in 2020.
That's not that many. Yeah, that's not that many.
No. Anyway, so look. There was a Republican primary problem. If you remember, Pennsylvania.
Oh, I remember.
Remember, 1.3 million votes cast. It was decided by a few hundred.
Mm-hmm.
What do we call that? We call that a divided primary. In North Carolina, what are we seeing? We're seeing a divided Republican primary. In Missouri, what are we seeing? We're seeing a bunch of people run against Eric Greitens. We are seeing a Republican divided primary.
Mm-hmm.
Or a divided Republican primary. In Colorado, we're seeing a divided Republican primary. We're seeing it in all of these states. Divided Republican primaries. So many candidates, they're all vying for the Trump endorsement. Mm-hmm. Most are not getting it. He's mostly not endorsing in many of these races. They're holding these pointless debates because it's just like a comedy show because they're all yelling at each other for one person's endorsement. That's all they're trying to get. And we're seeing that in so many of these states, New Hampshire being one of them. And they're just performing self-destruct. self-destruction.
So they're kind of all just splitting the votes amongst each other, and
yes,
there's really no clear winner.
They are creating a divide
within their own party.
A divide within their party. I mean, Pennsylvania, if Oz did not have to run at all, David McCormick would have been a great Senate candidate. He would beat John Fetterman in November. But Oz just had to run, and he divided the party, and he ended up winning.
From a clear winner.
And because Trump endorsed him, he won. In New Hampshire, we're seeing this. We're going to see a very narrow victory by whoever, there's no prominent people.
Are you seeing the party being divided to, like, Trump Republicans and, like, normal Republicans as well? Like, is that affecting the voting?
Not really. I mean, if we look in Ohio, J.D. Vance, Mike Gibbons, Josh Mandel, they all wanted that Trump endorsement. They're all trying to get the endorsement. There's not many people who are... Look, in Pennsylvania, we had one candidate. He was actually from
Nigeria?
Cameroon. He was from...
What? That's crazy.
I don't know how to pronounce his name. It was Nche Zama. I really liked him. He was awesome. But we had one candidate in the Pennsylvania Republican primary who did not want the Trump endorsement. He didn't care about it at all. You know what percentage of the votes he won? 1.2.
Oh my god.
1.2% he won. And that's how little that matters. It's all about the Trump endorsement.
Wow. That's just crazy to me.
It is. New Hampshire, I see going to Maggie Hassan. I think that she's going to win another term.
People will really vote just because one person.
And you know what? On the primaries thing, what I was talking about, the Democrats are playing so smart. In
which state?
In all of them. Where there's divided Republican primaries. In New Hampshire, we're seeing them unite behind Maggie Hassan. Colorado, they're uniting behind Michael Bennet. In Ohio, where there's no Democratic incumbent, we see them uniting behind Tim Ryan.
Wow.
We see it in all of these states. Georgia, Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, where we have a popular Republican incumbent, over and over and over. And that will be, even Pennsylvania, very critical. John Fetterman won in a landslide. But anyway, let's go to the state of Pennsylvania. And as I said, I do think that John Fetterman will pull out a win by a lean margin in this race. I think that he's a great face for the Democratic Party here in Pennsylvania. He looks like a Republican.
Different. Yeah, he's
different. He's not seen as some establishment, liberal northeastern guy. I mean, he's from a coal mining city. He was the mayor of there, Braddock, and he's tough. He is I don't know. But, I mean, he cares about economic issues, stuff that, like, people actually care about in the Rust Belt, in this region. That's why Trump won here.
And I think that's why he's, like, a good choice, and why a lot of people voted for Trump initially, is that he was something different.
Right.
It's something they weren't used to. And when people get tired of the same old problems that they're having constantly, even if they might not necessarily be, like, a Democrat or are more independent, they might vote for someone who's a little bit different and might give them something new.
And Fetterman is running a good campaign. He's making Oz look like the establishment.
Really?
Yeah, he always talks about how he's from New Jersey, too, because Oz is from New Jersey. He's not from Pennsylvania.
What the heck is he doing running in Pennsylvania?
Because Republicans can't win in New Jersey. That's why, so he moved to the second closest state. Anyway, let's now go to the state of Georgia, and I do think that Herschel Walker will win this race. I think it's going to definitely be a runoff and go into January, and I think that Warnock will pull out a win. Walker will pull out a win by tilt margin, so less than 1%, a very narrow win. And it's mostly I very rarely judge my opinions off of polling. But this one I will, because we see in Georgia polls Walker winning these races by a couple points. But if you don't know, polls always favor Democrats. Because Democrats are more enthusiastic.
They respond to those polls, right?
They do. They are more enthusiastic about their candidates. But we're seeing a Republican win these polls, a lot of them. It's showing that Walker will win.
When a Republican's winning the polls, you mean like it says more?
Yes, it says
and
much
more. And you can kind of like take it to be more the truth. Okay.
So I think that Walker will pull out a win in Georgia. So it's Republicans have 50, Democrats have 48. Now remember, the Democrats, even if the Democrats only win 50 seats, they have control over the Senate because Harris is the tie-breaking vote.
Mm-hmm.
So Republicans, they've already got half. They need one of these races to take control. The Democrats need both. All right, let's go to the state of Arizona. So I do think that Mark Kelly will pull out a win by a lean margin in this race. I just see him. I just see his opponent Blake Masters as too pro-Trump. If you remember, Arizona went to Biden in 2020 because of how different Trump was and how non-traditional he was. They went to McCain by almost a safe margin. They went to Romney by almost a safe margin. And if you remember in 2016, all the states shifted red, right?
Yeah,
Arizona
remember.
shifted blue because Trump was not a traditional Republican. They like traditional.
They like tradition. They don't like that different.
They don't like that different
politician type.
Right.
Okay.
Because John McCain is from here, legendary, and especially after Trump made the insults about the
veterans,
dead John McCain at the time.
That's so messed up.
Yeah. So Blake Masters is saying, let's prosecute Fauci. He's saying all these.
So they're like
very pro-Trump things.
We don't want that. We don't want any of that.
Right.
And you think they're gonna go blue?
I think that, and Mark Kelly's pretty popular. We always have to keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, incumbents tend to be popular. Nevada is the last state. If the Democrats win it, they get control. If the Republicans win it, they get control.
Man, it all comes down to this.
And I just said it before this video started. I said Nevada will be the closest state, and I still stand by that. I think it's going to be a tilt margin either way. So here's who we have. We have Catherine Cortez Masto as the Democratic incumbent running for a second term. So, I mean,
is it too hard to call?
It's extremely hard to call, but I never don't call any of the races. I always have a projection.
Okay.
So I don't want to do that. But I mean, she's a pretty popular incumbent. It's Nevada, but the issue is in Nevada, in Arizona, in many of these southeastern states, New Mexico, Texas, we are seeing Hispanics turn to the Republican Party in such high numbers. Since Biden became unpopular, they are shifting to the right so much in numbers that we've never seen before. I think there's the most Hispanics in the Republican Party since the mid-1970s.
That's really shocking.
Yeah, it really is. And his approval rating among them is so low. And
is there a specific reason, like
just because he's unpopular, especially
with that group in particular?
Yeah.
So they're unhappy with the way Biden's handling the border,
right? And that's
as opposed to Republicans.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
And even if Catherine Cortez Masto might be popular, even if Mark Kelly might be popular, he is having an effect on all of these Democratic Senate races. But then again, will we see a state like Nevada vote for the Republican candidate? I mean, I can't even think of the Republican candidate right now.
In Nevada?
Who even is it?
Who's the Democrat?
Catherine Cortez Masto.
And she's the incumbent?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, there's not a really, super significant,
How are people feeling about her specifically? Like,
she's pretty popular, and I think that I will give her this race. I think that she will narrowly pull out a win. Definitely by a tilt margin, either way.
Hold on, this looks like it's tied.
Yeah, remember what I was saying? Kamala Harris is the president of the Senate, and she is the tie-breaking vote.
Okay.
So the Democrats, in my July 2022 projection, I do believe that the Democrats will retain majority in the U.S. Senate. I think that they will have the majority. by winning Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, and New Hampshire. They should feel real lucky in the state of Pennsylvania because we have a incumbent Republican retiring, and they're gaining a seat in Pennsylvania. That is so important.
Yeah.
That is so important. Without Pennsylvania, without the what's the name? It's not Pat Toomey. It is Pat Toomey. Yeah, Pat.
But it wouldn't be as close if it weren't for that.
Pat Toomey would have won re-election, and Republicans would have had control even if Democrats win Nevada, even if they win Arizona.
All right, now I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think that the recent Supreme Court ruling on Roe v. Wade will cause maybe some new voters to come out or for some people to vote blue for the first time and maybe change some of these states that always go red?
Of course it's going to have an impact on an election. If you look at my if you look at my projections before the overruling and after the overruling, it definitely tends to favor Democrats after. I gave them a few more races. I gave them larger wins in Pennsylvania and Arizona. So there is an effect, but it was kind of like a whirlpool.
Because for some people that might push them to vote Republican, I guess. If they
not what I mean. It ended very, very soon. We saw in the generic ballot polling, which is like who do voters want in Congress, Democrats or Republicans. We didn't even see a 1% difference. It was less than 1%.
That's crazy.
They jumped a little bit and then it just stayed the same. I could show you it after. But and the Republicans do lead in the generic ballot. I do think that they will win the House of Representatives. I do think that they will win it because the Democrats, they only have 12 more seats than the Republicans. 24 actually. When you
do 2 per.
Well, it's just like if the Republicans win like 12 or 13, then they have control.
I see.
It's like it's like that.
Because I've also in that same sense these overrulings may push Democratic voters. I've also seen people that are upset with Democrats because they're like, we did vote for you. We voted for Biden. We've been voting blue, and this stuff is still happening. What more can we do? But I don't know. I guess it's just a toss-up, and we'll have to see.
It really is. Georgia could definitely go blue, and Nevada could definitely go red. I am pretty confident in Pennsylvania and New Hampshire, of course, all my likely states and safe states. Arizona, I might be a little iffy about, but I do think that Mark Kelly will win.
When will all these be called? January. You said Georgia could.
So Georgia will definitely be the longest if they go into a runoff. That is January 4th or 5th. The race is called.
When do you think the rest?
The rest. I believe the official election day is probably November 6th this year, and all these safe and likely races will be called on that day, and probably some of the lean races. But, lean and tilt races might be called a few days later. But it's not like we're going to see, months to count these votes.
Wow. Well, I'm anxious to see the results.
I am also.
And we'll have to compare the results to our prediction today.
Yeah, definitely. That will be very cool to look at once they actually happen. So, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me as your guest.
Yep, so thank you for everyone who watched this video. Make sure to comment video ideas down below. I always do 2024 election predictions. Drop your matchups below. And anyway, I hope to see you all next time. Have a great day.
Bye.